Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Yeah, good, dude. How are you?
Good. It's been a while since we've done something like this. I reckon it would have been a year ago when we announced we're going to do PCS update, which
it's been a while.
In its inception is about just updating on movie news and reacting to some of the movie news. And we have gone in very different, strange directions over the year. But you know what? We had an epiphany and we thought, there's some really interesting movie news out there at the moment. And so we're going to inform the peeps. That's what we're trying to do.
That's it.
All right, and we're going to get started. And basically, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm a massive JoeBlow.com fanboy. I've followed this site for 20 plus years easily. And I found them to be the most reputable, easily readable kind of content creators and news story outlets than Joe Blow. So all our stories are from Joe Blow today, but why not source from the best? So, and, there's lots to talk about. And not that story. We're not going to talk about that story first. But I thought, let's get stuck into some of the news. All right. Nice. I saw this article, She-Hulk. Jamelia Jamal confirms her casting with a fight training video. Now, have you ever seen her in anything before, dude?
No.
Did you watch The Good Place?
No.
Oh, that's a cool show, man. That's a really
she's in
cool
that.
Show. Yeah. She's funny as hell in it. She's really funny. Okay. So
she's done anything else? Has she done
I reckon she has, movie? But nothing that was on my radar. My radar was a Good Place. But man, she was really kind of good in it. So when I remember they announced it a few months ago that she had gotten the gig to do it, to play the villain. I was like, yeah, man, I could see it because she's quite funny. So, but this is great. This little article, it's not a lot there, but we get to see a little training video. So I thought I'd just, play it so we can have a look and see what she's up to.
Okay.
It's got the Rocky music going.
Yeah.
Which isn't much. I know that
just a little much. Like a little
just
teaser.
Photo as a kid like that. No,
just
but
teaser.
It's teaser, but in saying that, it does indicate to me as the villain that she is actually fighting. So it's not a CG iteration. She's going to be very physical in the role. Which also, I started thinking, dude, is She-Hulk going to be CG or is it? Or is she just kind of both? A blend of both, you think?
Maybe.
You're probably right. It'd be one way to go, wouldn't it? With it.
It would have to. I think it would be both CG and normal. I think because you got to have that. Remember that She-Hulk's got that physique as well. So that's the thing. But they might be just doing more focus.
And the younger that Tatiana, who they she's not
doesn't have that physique.
She doesn't have that. So and it would make sense. Why it would seem odd if you have Hulk and She-Hulk in the same show, which you do.
Yeah.
You couldn't have one real life and then one CG, could you?
No.
It would totally look odd. No. Hey, did you hear the music in that, by the way?
No, I didn't. No.
You didn't? All right. So what we'll do just quickly, I'm going to unshare that and then reshare that because I want everybody to be able to hear all this. So just bear with me one sec. Share the audio because I think that's pretty important. Because I've got another clip later that I wanted to show as well. I actually don't even know if I've got it up there at the moment. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, so that was an interesting one. So just kind of 2022. I can't believe this. Say this, fighting my way through the MCU coming in 2022. It can't come fucking quick enough for you, dude, can it?
No, I can't fucking wait. It's just,
So I think it's probably your most
half hour.
Apparently, the half an hour shows very, very episodic, very sitcom-like. It's a comedy. I think it's going to be very different than what we've seen in the last three. As I have been doing, every show seems to be.
Every show is different.
Very, very, very different as with that. The next story I wanted to talk about is this. Now, when I first saw this headline, I was in shock. I was in shock. And then I went from a different and I went, wow, she feels like she's been Harley Quinn forever. But do you know she's only actually been doing the role for 5 years. Because the first appearance we got to see of her version of Harley Quinn was in 2016 in Suicide Squad. So all her appearances have come in the last 5 years. But, you know, it's going to be a shame. I mean, like, she got Birds of Prey movie, which is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awful, right? It was shit.
Yeah.
No one liked that film. But I think that was the end of her contract. I think the Suicide Squad was like they had one more film left in her contract, and they went, "Can you put her in?" Because I know that article did come out with James Gunn did admit that Warner Brothers asked him to include Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad because I don't think he was initially going.
You have to.
Well, you do, but you know he was going for a more 70s kind of based Suicide Squad, which is very influenced by that. And remember, Harley Quinn wasn't around then.
True.
Harley Quinn didn't come around to the early 90s. So, so it would have been more accurate, but, you know, she's a great character. But it doesn't sound good, does it, Rick?
Has it been confirmed, that, or was it just saying
that
she doesn't know?
Let's have a look at the article. So while she was speaking with Entertainment Weekly, Robbie got pretty candid about playing Harley Quinn, expressed she was ready to take a break. So straight away, she's going,
she wants, okay, she's,
and she goes like, oof, I need a break from Harley because she's exhausting. I don't know when we're going to see her. So I would say that's her saying I'm out.
Her saying that.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm done. I'm done with Harley Quinn. Am I done with her version of Harley Quinn, though, dude? Yeah, kind of. After Suicide Squad, which, you know, we'll talk about that.
A bit different.
What else, other stories there to be told? Unless they went retroactively and you had a true love story movie between her and Jared Leto's Joker. I don't know what else to explore with her character. I would be more keen for them to do other stuff than, you know. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's where it is with her.
Shame because she brought a great, you know, Harley Quinn to the screen. So,
she was good.
You know, if she decides that she wants to leave and whatever, but, you know, do they want to replace her? She'll be hard to replace. It's just,
What
so many questions.
Need with all the giant pantheon of characters that you have at your disposal in DC, which they have not tapped into yet, we could probably take a break from Harley Quinn for a while. There's lots of great stuff coming out. You know, I think it's, take a break. Maybe she'll come back when she's, you know, when she needs to buy another house or something like that. But
when she can't get a job somewhere else, that's it. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if she would think like that, dude, because honestly, like, this fucking set her career on fire, this role.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all loved her from Wolf of Wall Street. We loved all of her in Wolf of Wall Street. But yeah, no, this is the character that kind of put into the stratosphere.
Yeah, definitely. She might come over to Marvel one day. You never know.
Well, you never know. I mean, we are starting to get that, like James Gunn, you know, who we'll talk about.
There's a lot that,
a little bit later. We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. What else we got, Jace?
Anyway, let's move on.
I'm sure there's some Marvel news.
Need some more caffeine. That's what I need. Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios, dude, we love. All hail Marvel Studios, our glorious overlords of entertainment. You know, I went through that phase where I'm going, oh, man, maybe I should just chill on my fanboyism for Marvel. Fuck no. I love Marvel. I love what they do.
That shit.
The movies are awesome. The TV shows are awesome. I don't care. I am not. If I'm seen as a biased fan, I'm a biased fan.
Don't worry about it.
But they've earned my respect and trust and love. You know, just unbelievable content for 10 plus years. But with everything that's happening, especially with that last episode of Loki, dude, and
so
we know
good.
We've got Spider-Man No Way Home, and we know we've got Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness. We had WandaVision dealing. Multiverse is the big thing that's going on in the Marvel universe at the moment.
Yep,
and so it makes sense that Marvel Studios had to have a meeting going, hey, man, we're going to set the rules up here before it gets out of control. Right? Yeah. I mean,
set the rules.
So Kevin Feige confirmed for the D23 Inside Disney podcast via the Direct that the multiverse, and here's his quote in red there, the multiverse is coming up in a big way. There's interconnectivity there that people have already started to see and suss out. And I had a meeting this morning with the whole broad Marvel Studios team going through the multiverse and the rules of the multiverse and exactly how to really deliver on excitement surrounding the multiverse. That's what news do we get out of it? They have a plan. Do you hear that, Lucasfilm? They have a plan and a strategy. They know exactly what's going on. Do you hear that, DC? They have a plan and a strategy. They know what they're doing, and it's exciting to me because it really branches the opportunities of the Marvel storytelling in areas that you just maybe never would have happened. And I mean, like I was saying to you the other night about what if that show What If that's coming out.
It's coming out.
I've seen trailers recently for it and all that. It was really, really great. I'd always considered that in my head as a separate kind of, just a one-off stories. They're not really related to the MCU, but made by the people of the MCU. No. Essentially, because of what happened at the end of Loki, they are different multiverses and different versions of those characters. So, in fact, it is all canon. So, and the fact that most of their big movies of Phase 4, being Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Doctor Strange, as aforementioned, and Spider-Man, are all centered around the multiverse. Yeah, it's certainly really important for them to be setting this stuff up. So we don't get, because the last thing they want is fanboys going, yeah, but this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you know what?
And we're going to do that. If you don't get it right.
But good on them for doing it. Like you said, they got a plan.
To me, it's just a confidence story.
Yeah.
It just gives me more confidence in them. Yeah.
I mean, they haven't let us down. They've been so great, and especially this whole new. We get to see this fantastic content on Disney Plus now as well, and then them, merging that with the big screen as well, which is just awesome. So many people are talking about these shows. Like, you go anywhere you go. If I'm at work or something like that, I've got my clients saying, "Oh, did you see the latest Loki show?" and all this. Like, people you wouldn't think that would be watching these shows are watching it. It's fantastic. So I cannot wait.
That's such a great point, Rick, because that's the power of Marvel. Is they don't just take care of fans, and there's plenty of them out there.
That's right.
Yeah. They get the general public, the people with a passing interest in on this. Yeah. So, very cool. Very cool. No, let's move away to Lucasfilm, who I just took a swing at about not planning things out. I do believe for this, though, they've got a good plan in place. Indiana Jones 5 currently being shot in Scotland, I believe.
Wow.
Which is crazy because Harrison Ford will be 80 when this film is released.
80
years old and still playing Indiana Jones, clearly playing an elder Indiana Jones in this one. But they've given us some really interesting set photos out there. And they're only small ones, but you can see that we've got I would say they're saying 70s, but I reckon it's more, I would say these pics are more 60s, late 60s, very groovy English kind of, almost Austin Powers inspired kind of dressing. But it's crazy to me. The reason I brought up the story, dude, is Indiana Jones 5. It's even been made.
Yeah. This is just we covered this a while ago, a long time ago. Last year,
we did.
Talking about it, and we had our concerns, and now we're starting to see a little bit more coming out of it. And I don't know. I'm still excited.
I'm really excited because of who's involved. The guy that directed Logan.
Yeah, James
Ford v Ferrari. James Mangold's director.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Which thing straight away.
Of course.
And obviously they've got a great cast. And Antonio Banderas just joined the cast. which is great. And he joins some of these names is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who we saw dressed in the 70s gear. Mads Mikkelsen we've got in this film. Thomas Kretschmann, Boyd Holbrook, Toby Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, like we've got, it's quite a cast. Yeah, it's a great cast. So, but like, let's face it, this film is just a giant apology for the fourth one, isn't it?
That was terrible.
Like, if the fourth one was good, does this film even get made? I wouldn't think so. No, I don't think so.
No.
But there you go. Are you keen? Because I'll be going to go and see it. Like when it comes out.
I'll go see it. Yeah, I'm not gonna go now. I don't want to see it. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm on the fence on this one, Jace, because I've just such a long time, and how they're gonna do it. I can't see, Harrison Ford doing too many stunts and running around too much. So interesting to see which direction and how they do it. But
Agreed. Hey, your favorite show of all time, and certainly in my top 3 of all time, Rick, is The Sopranos, right?
Correct,
we love it. In fact, I watched an episode yesterday, season 2, episode 1.
Back onto it again. Such a great,
fantastic show. And the reason I'm back inspired again, it's a great show. You're going to watch, but obviously the Saints of Newark's coming out later in the year. But an interesting, like, side note story. I watch a podcast called Talking Sopranos.
Oh, nice.
Michael Imperioli, and I can't remember the other guy's name now. I don't know because I'm old and blank. But anyway, they were talking with Ricky Gervais the other day. Ricky Gervais had him on the podcast because Ricky Gervais is apparently a massive fan of Sopranos. And Michael Imperioli comes out and said that when Steve Carell was going to leave the office at the end of season 7, and then they had James Spader in there for a year and things like that. Yeah, they originally approached James Gandolfini to join it for a year.
Wow.
And James Gandolfini, at that point in his career, apparently wasn't getting a lot of work. He's developing stuff, so he was going to take the job. He was taking the job, and they offered him $4 million to do the office for 1 year. And then, and here's the story here. Yep, they were basically saying, and then they offered him $4 million for 1 season, as you can see here. But then HBO steps in and pays him $3 million not to work. Dude, I can only dream of earning $3. This guy didn't even have to do a thing, and he was paid $3 million.
And what was their reasoning for it? Not to do
Well, here's the reasoning. Apparently, no. Gervais asked the question, saying, just so they paid him to keep the legacies of the Sopranos pure. But Sherpa is the other Sherpa. I can never pronounce. Steve Sherpa. Who did he play in Sopranos? You know the guy. But the brother-in-law.
The brother. Yeah.
He gets shot in the mall store in the end.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No. Apparently, the reason is HBO also had a deal with him because he was developing stuff with HBO. So, but that's just crazy. Wow. An interesting story that what kind of world do you live in, Rick? Where you pay $3 million to do sweet FA?
So you're going to go pay, okay, we're going to give you $4 million to do 1 season of The Office. And he's going, you know what? Fuck, I need the money. I'm going to do it. And then out of nowhere, HBO. And that's just, I'll give you $3 million. Like, what would be going through his head going, shit.
It's probably went, that was easy. That was easy. Anyway,
where do I sign?
Where do I sign? Yeah, give me that $3 million in cash. Easy, weird stuff. All right, we're going to go back to we're going to go to DC now.
DC.
One of the stories I didn't have on here, but I quickly want to bring up is Black Adam has just finished filming. Filming in the last 24 hours. I tell you what, I didn't care about Black Adam at all. Right? I was like, Rock in other movies. All I have to do is throw a rock, and I'll hit a movie with the rock in it. But do you know who they cast as Dr. Fate in that movie?
Who did they cast? I haven't heard much on
Piers Bronson is playing Dr. Fate.
Yes.
What a great... As soon as I heard that...
Wow. Bond himself.
Wow. Bond is playing Dr. Fate. And if you know Dr. Fate, guys, he is one of my favorite DC characters. He is so cool. Anyway, what I want to talk about DC is first reactions have come out for Suicide Squad.
Nice. When's that coming out? Coming out very soon, actually. In
very
a couple of
soon,
weeks,
dude. I think in a month. Nice. It's not August.
August is coming out. So.
First reactions say the film is unlike anything we've seen.
Wow. Okay.
So, and I mean, there's no spoilers in these reactions, so it's all good. But basically, just to give you the brief overline, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad follows the members of Task Force X as they're sent to a South American island of Corto Maltese to destroy, I can't even pronounce it, Jotunheim, a Nazi-era prison and a laboratory which held political prisoners and conducted experiments. But let's have a look at some of the feedback. Wow. Just checked out, this is from Jimmy to the O, which is obviously one of the big bosses behind here at Joe Blow. Basically just checked out Suicide Squad and calls it weird and wonderful. There are laughs aplenty and some of the most outrageous and original visuals you're likely to see in cinema this year. The Suicide Squad, this is Suicide Squad we've been waiting for. Wow. Right, another comment was from Drew Taylor. Drew Taylor is gloriously insane and so fun. After watching it, you'll think you might have dreamt it. Everyone is excellent and deeply committed to the material and its singular mood and wild-ass aesthetic. Can't wait to ride this roller coaster again, which is fantastic. It's not only my favorite DC movie, it's easily James Gunn's best film.
Ooh, that's a tough call.
And they're not a Marvel fan. They keep going on, dude. Everyone's loving it. I love this crazy movie. Blood gushing fun and is absolutely insane. Violent as hell, raunchy and unforgiving. There's nothing like it. Damn.
Killer shark.
So there's obviously this film is going to be a phenomenon, Rick. I think we're just about to see something wholly original, and I cannot wait. For this film. Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And, good on James Gunn. He was opportunistic at the time. He got sacked from Marvel.
He caught a lot.
Straight into DC. And DC was smart enough to go, please, what do you want to do? All right, you can do whatever you want to do.
And they gave him free control.
They did want him. Did you know when DC approached him, they wanted him to do a Superman movie?
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he didn't really want to do Superman. And Suicide Squad came.
So Suicide Squad, much better.
Yeah. Well, interesting. For him anyway.
Creatively, it's more his style. So.
James Gunn come out and did a big Variety article recently. New York Times, talking about lots of things, but one of them, what the difference is between working for Marvel and working for DC.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's interesting. And so I'm going to read this out, obviously. There's no doubt Kevin Feige is way more involved with editing than people are at Warner Brothers. He gives more notes. You don't have to take them, and I don't always take them. Then again, I had more problems. If you saw the first cut of Guardians 1, it had more problems because it was my first time making something so gigantic, and there's some learning to what works and what doesn't. Carving away the excess stuff. The truth is, as Marvel goes on and Kevin starts to amass ownership of half all film in general, he's more spread out.
Okay.
That I thought was a little bit negative towards Marvel and a bit of a slight kind of to Feige. Yeah, kind of, is he kind of reading between the lines? Is he saying he's too controlling?
Sounds like it. But in
a nice kind of PC way. But all I'm going to say to that, and if he does think like that, is James, where has he dropped the ball? Because even their worst film is better than a lot of other blockbusters we get. So, yeah. But he went on to talk about the differences. So that's what he said about Marvel. But then he went on to say about DC films, because that is one of the ways which DC can distinguish itself from Marvel. I think the current batch of folks over at Warner Brothers are really interested in building out a world and creating something that's unique to the filmmakers. We're in a strange time, so anything can happen. And then when Gunn made it, has made it pretty clear that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be the last hurrah for Marvel.
Yeah.
He seems to be much more open working with DC films again because there is more opportunity to do different things. I do find because of the ability to do different stuff in the DC multiverse, it's fun. They're starting to really resemble comic books of the Marvel universe. Comic books. The Marvel universe is a little bit more cohesive, and DC has always had more great single runs. They had The Dark Knight Returns. They had Watchmen. They had Killing Joke. They had Swamp Thing. The fact that they did Joker, the movie, which is totally different type of movie, to me is cool. And I'm very excited about Matt's movie, The Batman. Matt Reeves, of course. They're getting to some really good filmmakers involved. There's always going to be hit or miss. I just don't want them to get boring. So him saying boring, is that another swing he's taken at Marvel doing? Like, I don't consider Marvel films boring.
They're not boring.
But they're not.
No.
And obviously, look, at the end of the day,
geez, there's some DC boring movies. Come on, let's face
it. I
mean,
there has been some garbage come down the DC pipeline.
Jesus.
Absolute kind of garbage, But you know what they're also saying? And you can check on the channel too how many times I was saying this, that DC should be more focused on doing one-off films, true adaptations of some of their classics. I've been saying that for fucking years.
You have.
And it looks like that's what they're doing now because the Joker's successful. Because we don't want to stick to the Joker. The Joker is that story is done. The Suicide Squad is that story that's done. It's more interesting. Marvel have done it. They cracked the code. It will never be repeated again. They built a cinematic universe. Just be different. And they're definitely doing that. Yeah,
they must be watching our channel, Jace. That's why they must have heard you, and they're starting to do it.
They should. And you know what? I've not seen one fucking check yet, dude.
I'm annoyed. Can we get on that?
But all I was saying is what most people were thinking, dude.
No, it's true.
Everybody's on the same thing.
You're right.
Everyone who cares a shit about this type of content would be thinking, hey, man, why don't you just do the Killing Joke? I would love to see just a Killing Joke. I would love to see Swamp Thing. I would love to see
Swamp Thing would be awesome.
But James wasn't then silent. He kept going on in his big interview with New York Times, talked about his firing from his initial firing from Marvel.
That was a big one.
And here are some of his quotes. I called Kevin in the morning. It was going on. And I said, is this a big deal? And he goes, I don't know. That was a moment. I was like, you don't know? I was surprised. Later, he called me. He himself was in shock and told me that the powers that be had decided. And he went for he goes, it was unbelievable. And for a day, it seemed like everything was gone. Everything was gone. I was going to have to sell my house. I was never going to be able to work again. Yeah. That's what it felt like.
Wow.
I understand, except the business decisions take today. He also said that he regretted the words in his tweet because they don't reflect the person I am today or have been for some time. When he got reinstated, he goes, I felt really fulfilled and loved in a way that I've never felt my entire life. Mm-hmm. But, he, even though it sounds like he was like, I was in shock, can't believe it, he's actually a big component of it in a way, because he was saying here, it's such a bigger issue than that, because cancel culture is also is people like Harvey Weinstein, who should be cancelled. People have gotten cancelled and then remain cancelled. Most of those people deserve that. The paparazzi are not just the people on the streets. They're the people combing Twitter for any past sins. All of that sucks. It's painful. But some of it is accountability. And that part of it is good. It's just about finding the balance. Now, I don't agree with him at all on that. I don't. I think, yes, you've got to get rid of your Harvey Weinsteins. And obviously this cancer is systemic about getting rid of these horrible, horrible kind of people. But I don't know if, I'm not on Twitter, but I can guarantee you 20, 25 years ago, I would have said some horribly offensive things in the past.
Of course.
making jokes, never malicious, but making jokes,
No.
around jokes, stuff like that. I don't know. Is it healthy for the world to have to go back and go, hey, man, for that thing I said when I was drunk 25 years ago and thought I was funny, I'm really sorry, and now I should lose my job over it. Doesn't seem to, so that's kind of where we're in.
But the world has changed, and that's the thing.
And you're going to change with it, and we're not always kind of agree. And at the basis of it, it's about getting these creeps out of there, right? So I do agree with it. The problem is it's sometimes evolved into some witch hunts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, not everybody's kind of it hasn't worked with everybody either, because there's a guy, and just bear with me here. So I'm going to put us back to this, because this is going to be highly offensive, but I just want to show you an example of how this hasn't worked. All right. And you're like, here we go.
Highly offensive, and it's not going to work.
Actually, I don't have it. I thought there was a meme, and it said, and I can explain it, and it said, and it just had the line, "What are you doing this weekend?" And it said me, and it was just a picture of Cosby smiling. How free are you this weekend? There's a picture of Cosby smiling. Yeah, free. Like Cosby's out. Free. You know what I mean? How accountable was he really made in the end? So anyway, I'm getting into a tricky area. I just want to talk about movies. What am I doing? Yeah, man. So there you go. I just thought it was a good chance for us we may kind of keep doing these now to.
It's a lot more.
It's a chance for you and me, dude, just to talk about some of these stories, and hopefully the guys there kind of are interested enough to, hear what we say. But yeah. What do you?
No, it's great. There's so much, because like you said last year when we were doing this, COVID was through and the pandemic, and there was not really much news coming out. It was great. Now it's just the floodgates are open. So much content now at the moment.
Yeah, we got to cover it. We really got to cover it. And we'll do that. And, there'll be no absolute fixed structure for this, I don't think, Rick. Yeah, it could be like, hey, man, did you see with the news in the last couple of days? Let's get on, and we'll kind of do one. So.
Well, most of those stories were a couple of hours old, so they've just come on board.
Yeah. So, and that's what we'll do. We'll try to react to things in that kind of real time if we possibly can, for sure, dude. But that was it, man. Great. That was kind of it for the day. So, yeah, man, if you haven't got anything more to add, I think we get out of this sucker.
No, that's it, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you next time, I suppose, eh? The old PCS update.
See you.